Hey everybody, it's Rico, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can find good and cheap cars here in Cyprus as fast as possible. I will give you some very important tips on how you can save money here while buying a car, and my goal is to prevent you from buying a bad car because this is actually not very rare here on the island. So buying a car here in Cyprus is not the easiest thing at all, and whenever someone asks me how they can find a good car, it's always like, well, and that is the reason why I decided to make this video. And I actually bought a car in 2020 already here on the island from a car dealer, and I must say, in hindsight, it was a very big mistake. I went with a very cheap car and I got a big engine problem right after that. Now, just some weeks ago, I actually bought a new car, a Mercedes car, from a private seller, and I'm super happy with that car, and I'm going to show you that car right now. This car right here is my new Mercedes E200 compressor from the year 2001, and I must say I'm very happy with that car. Even though it is very old, it's still very in a good condition. The engine, I took a look at it, it's very clean. All the electrical features inside, they are still working. The leather, still great condition, and for the price of just 2,100 euros, I couldn't say no. So I bought this car and I'm very happy driving it. I feel very comfortable, convenient, and it's a very cheap car and it can drive me anywhere I want on the island. It's fast, and that's why I said yes and bought it, especially compared to my older car, which was an SUV for the same price, also lower budget car. This one right here is just much more modern, even though it is old, as I said, but I don't want to spend too much money for a car yet, maybe in the future, but at the moment, this car right here, just take a look at it. It looks good, it drives good, so for me it was a yes. And now let's get back to the office. So that was the car, and if you want a similar great deal, definitely make sure to watch this video until the end. Leave a subscribe as I'm making more awesome videos. And now I'm going to start with some general information, as it's very important, and that is, first of all, finding the car is the actual hardest thing here in Cyprus. Buying the car and the paperwork, super easy, but finding it, that's the mission. As you probably know, Cyprus is super hot and the summer is actually very long as well. So in summer, it can be super hot for several months. And this is actually not the best thing for a car, obviously, because the car is getting damaged by hot sun as well as the streets. And thus, the streets in Cyprus are still not the best. So you get some bumpers from here and there. You have some holes in the streets sometimes. And when you're not aware and present while driving, you just drive through it. And every little thing like that, or a bumper, will just damage the car. And when you're buying a used car, you obviously need to be aware about that the car was not standing in the garage for several years, but someone drove it. And for you, it's important to know how you can find those spots. So this is actually one of the first tips that I will give you while finding a car, and that is that you should know what to look at, and there are awesome other videos about that topic as well as there is a service from Bazaraki, which is the biggest marketplace here in Cyprus, that they give you a special mechanic for you to look at cars, and he charges you around 100 euros, especially if you're trying to buy a more expensive car, let's say 5,000, 10,000 euros, or even more if you have the money. It's very wise to spend 100 to 200 euros maximum for a mechanic who looks for you independently about damages or problems, technical problems, whatever. Also, it is very hard to get spare parts here on the island, so it would be a bad decision to go with an exotic luxury car, because you will not find a new tire for a Lamborghini as easy as for a Mercedes or a Japanese car. So definitely have that in mind as well. Also, a fun fact, you buy the cars here on the island with the license plate already on the car, while in Central Europe, the license plate is connected with the owner of the car. So I had my own license plate in Germany with all my cars, but here in Cyprus, every car has its own license plate, and if you're buying or selling the car, the license plate will stay on it. Also important, as we are on an island, all cars are actually getting imported to the island, and this costs money. So every car, especially the low budget cars, they have a 500 to 1000 euros price just in itself because they got imported here, because the first person receiving the car and importing the car here, he obviously doesn't want to lose on the shipping cost that he paid. So everyone in this chain of sellers wants to have this 500 euros shipping costs again, and this is why every car, just because of the shipping thing, costs 500 euros more. And actually the cars here in general are more expensive than in other parts of the world, just because we are on an island and because we don't have a factory of cars here. So cars are much more rare here, and the people in Cyprus, they love cars, especially Mercedes. They are driving around Mercedes like crazy here, and cars get sold and bought super fast, especially if it's a nice looking, decent car. And a buyer will be found eventually. Now talking about prices and how much cars in Cyprus cost, just rough numbers. Obviously it depends on the individual deal. However, I would not go with cars that are too old, like 2005 is probably the maximum. I went with an older car, but just because I really don't care about cars. As long as it looks okay and as long as it drives, I'm happy with it. And my deal was like really good, so I just bought this car. But recommending to someone else, I would say go with 2005 or newer. And the price for that ranges from very good deals like 3000 euros, especially private sellers, but it actually is more like 4,000 to 5,000 to 6,000 euros. If you're not researching deep enough but just looking for a car to buy, you will get deals like that very easily. If you're going very deep into the research, you will find some great deals for 3,000 euros, but it's not something that is super normal here in Cyprus. I will also not talk about super luxury cars here in this video, just because I think the most people are interested in normal cars. Gas prices here in Cyprus are definitely much cheaper than in Central Europe, like always like 50% cheaper for 95 as well as for diesel, so that is very nice. And those are the general informations. Now talking about where to find the best cars, because you can know all of these things, but at the end of the day you still don't know where to find the best car. And the answer to that is actually that I would recommend you to go with private sellers. And the marketplace for private sellers are either Facebook Marketplace or Bazaraki, or if you're well connected here on the island or you have some friends here, just ask around some friends and some people that know some people, and then basically direct contacts. Those are the three best things. I'm not saying that a car dealer is not a good idea. You can try it out on your own, but my experience and the experience of a friend of mine was not the best, and this is why I do not want to touch that topic more here. Also, I bought a car. I talked with the car dealer. I told him the only thing I don't want is to have a big problem 1 month after buying the car. And what happened? Just that. Could be just me, because I didn't looked at the car well enough, and I also didn't have a professional looking at the car with me, so it's my mistake most likely. However, I want you to not have that mistake as well. I also spent a lot of money on fixing the big engine problem back then, so I do not again want you to have that again. So go with private sellers, just listen to your gut feeling, talk to the person, ask a lot of questions, why he wants to sell it, did he have some big accidents, what is the technical electrical part of the car, and also go with a professional over it. So make yourself a list of 5 to 10 cars that you want to buy, that you want to look at. Visit the cars, do a test drive. People on the island here are very chill, so they will probably let you drive the car and test it out. Definitely do that if they allow it. It's very important, because just while driving the car, you will eventually find out if something is wrong with the brakes, with the shifting gears, or with the lights. Test out all of that. And when you found your perfect car, the budget is fine for you, you like the car, then it is about the process of buying the car. And as I said, it's actually very easy. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to get the transfer document, and you will need to certify this by a certifying officer here in Cyprus. It will look like that. This is the document of transferring the car from one person to the other. And then you will go to the road transport office, or second option to the citizen service, and they will then use this document in order to give you this document which is the ownership of the car. And when you have this document, you then need your insurance, or you can also do the insurance first, and then you basically have most of the important things in order to officially own the car. Next one, it's also important to know that you're paying a yearly tax as in any country, which ranges from 100 euros to 300 euros depending on the car, obviously. And you need to pay this road tax either from January until March. If you're not paying it within this range of time, you will get a penalty. Not a big one, but a small one. Also, you need to make sure that your car has MOT. So either your seller of the car has MOT until 1-2 years from the date of the buying the car, or you need to do it again, and then you will get this document, which is basically the document from the MOT. The MOT is most of the time for the next 2 years, which is basically the check that the car is safe to drive on the Cyprus streets. This is all you need to know about finding and buying a car and not doing a mistake, getting the best price. Always, definitely, when you're buying a car, negotiate and listen to your guts. If you find this video helpful, definitely make sure to subscribe to this channel. I am happy to make more awesome videos like that and help you moving to Cyprus the best and most efficient way. Leave a like to this video, and I will see you in the next video.